Welcome back to Freedom News Network. Thanks for watching. Once again, we're bringing you the truth. Once again, bringing you breaking news in the James Comey debacle. Very, very interesting, hilarious situation which has evolved from following his testimony to the Senate Intelligence Committee last week, in which Comey admitted, whilst under oath and also in his written testimony, that he was a leaker. James Comey also testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee on May 3rd that he had no knowledge of any prior leaks in which FBI employees leaked any information to the press. It's since been alleged that Comey may be linked to multiple other leaks going back as far as January 10th. There's been 11 articles which were released by the New York Times that include Daniel Richman, which is the friend of James Comey, the university friend which leaked the memos to the New York Times on James Comey's behalf, that also contain James Comey. 6 of these articles were written by Mike Schmidt, the same author who wrote the articles on the leaked memos just recently. So many would allege that these same FBI and high-up intelligence sources for these earlier articles was also the same source for the later articles, and that is James Comey. Therefore, he may have lied under oath to the Senate Judiciary Committee as well as the Senate Intelligence Committee. James Comey testified under oath that on January 6, he had a one-on-one meeting with Donald Trump in which he briefed Donald Trump on the dossier that was leaked, which falsely accused Donald Trump of involvement with prostitutes in Moscow. 4 days later, the New York Times did a story which included what they claim is an inside high-up FBI source, and also included private FBI information such as what date they were first aware of the dossier and some of the unique troubles they had in investigation their validity. On January 24, the New York Times reported that James Comey would be staying on as the director of the FBI. They claimed that this was leaked to them via a source that had inside information of the meeting between Trump and Comey, in which Trump informed Comey that he would be staying on as the leader of the FBI. The only problem with this theory is that James Comey testified under oath that this meeting occurred on January 6, and in the meeting was him and Trump. So who was your source, New York Times? Was it Trump or was it Comey? Following a CNN report which was released on February 24th, which alleged ties between the Trump campaign and Russia officials, New York Times reported on the same day that both Comey and McAbee had called the White House to speak to Reince Priebus and to reassure him that the claims made by CNN are false. On the same day, Trump also tweeted that the FBI needs to step up their investigation into finding out who the leaker is. The only problem with this theory is that the FBI never found out who the leaker was because the FBI director, James Comey himself, was indeed the leaker. On March 1st, the New York Times reported that Attorney General Jeff Sessions had a number of conversations with Russian official Sergei Kislyak. These were the accusations which caused the media frenzy which led to Attorney General Jeff Sessions recusing himself from the Russia investigation. Comey said in his written testimony that he knew as far back as mid-February that Jeff Sessions may be recusing himself from the Russia investigation, and he cites this as the reason why he did not inform Jeff Sessions about the concerning, or so-called alleged concerning, conversations which took place between him and Trump. On March 5th, James Comey's friends at the New York Times released yet another article claiming that James Comey had refuted Donald Trump's claims that he'd been wiretapped by President Obama, even going so far as to apply pressure to the Department of Justice to publicly deny this narrative. They never did, but this did not stop the New York Times from voicing Comey's concerns, although James Comey never went on the record and gave a proper quote. James Comey testified under oath to the Senate Intelligence Committee last week that the reason he began to record his private one-on-one meetings with Donald Trump, typing up the alleged conversation following the meeting on an FBI laptop in the car, is because he thought that Donald Trump may lie about the nature of their meetings. However, we now know in hindsight that it is far more plausible that the reason that James Comey began to type these memos up word for word, including a bunch of convenient little quotes perfectly created for sound bites, is actually in order to leak it to the press to make Donald Trump look bad. Here's after all of the mainstream media's false rhetoric has been exposed, after the leaker has finally been exposed, and after everything's been said and done, including the fact that we've now confirmed that Trump was never under investigation for links to Russia, I think we can safely assume that James Comey, the political activist, was working alongside with his co-conspirators in the DNC to discredit Trump and to try to topple his leadership before it even began. Let us know what you think. Let us know what conclusion you draw from this evidence. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and like, and keep up the fight. God bless you.